You turn my sixes to nines.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the 5th installment of the Shortbow series and final installment where we've analyzed the weapon class. In this video, we're going to review my build, my skills, my armor, and what I've done to be successful as Shortbow over the past couple of months. Before we get into it, though, I would like to personally thank you for all of your support over the past couple of months. We've recently become a content creator on the Conqueror's Blade team, and I couldn't be more thrilled. So thank you so much, and congratulations to you, the viewer. Let's get into it. As a Shortbow, the very first thing that you need to go into is how you're going to allocate your 72 skill points that are given to you when you hit level 60. It's pretty obvious. You're going to throw those points into agility. Right now, my points are in strength because I'm playing Maul. I'm not playing Shortbow. But for the sake of this video, we're going to reset our points. And we're going to use an item reset. And we're just going to remember you can shift, click, and it goes up by 10. Max those into agility. Why are you doing that? Because that directly goes into your piercing damage. Piercing damage is the bread and butter for the Shortbow class. So, click apply, we're good to go. Straightforward. All agility. There's no other build. It's pretty straightforward. Now for your armor. You're going to get Rogue's armor. Now this Rogue's armor, the reason why it's so good is it gives you that piercing penetration that you need to get through your opponent's armor. Additionally, it gives you 96 critical points. It's pretty straightforward. There's not many other options because there's no other real armor classes. You can't wear anything else. You can't wear medium armor. You can't wear heavy armor. You have to wear light armor. So that's pretty straightforward. There's no argument there. But the stats that you want on your armor, that's where it gets a little bit tricky. You need critical value. Critical value on each piece maxes out at 10 critical value in addition to the normal amount on gloves. The other pieces do not have critical value. So what you want is you want 10, 10, 10, 10. So plus 40, essentially. Weapon. As hard as it is to roll, it's not the hardest. You're not Spear. Spear is probably one of the hardest things to roll, or dual blades. But Windcatcher is your weapon, which is the blue schematic. I wouldn't suggest you waste an epic schematic on a weapon. This goes across the board because you don't really get those very often. I mean, yes, we've gotten an influx over them over the past couple seasons, but the hardest part about getting these is maintaining that weapon durability and getting a good roll. You can roll, and never get a good roll. And you're going to try to extrapolate that onto the one chance that you get a good roll for getting an epic schematic. No, you're going to use a blue schematic and you're going to make a Windcatcher. That Windcatcher hopefully will roll like this, which is the piercing armor penetration, the piercing damage, and the critical value. Again, critical value. So if you look at my points right now, I got almost 300 critical value. I'm not sure on the value of that, but supposedly the greater the critical value, the more likely you are to deal additional damage to the enemy. Whether or not that stacks in certain ways is a debate, but pretty much for the sake of this video, we're going to say max out critical value. You can't go wrong. Piercing damage, piercing armor penetration, critical value. That's all you care about as a Shortbow. Now we're going to pop over to what skills you should use as a Shortbow. Personally, I take these 4 skills. Bola, Stunning Shot, Steel-Tipped Arrow, and Rolling Escape. Now, this is highly debatable. You're probably asking, whoa, why don't you take an ultimate? I don't think you need the ultimate. The purpose of Shortbow, in my opinion, is to provide as much CC on the front lines as well as much damage output over a duration of time. You're not going to get that with the ultimates. The ultimates each have a 50-second cooldown. That amount of time, I could be spamming my other skills multiple times. Case in point, steel-tipped arrow, 6-second cooldown. Stunning shot, 12-second cooldown. Bola, 16-second cooldown. The amount of DPS that I can output by using my basic attack stacked with steel-tipped arrow is more than the amount of DPS than someone can put out to a single person with Wrath of Artemis or Angry Ornaments. Don't get me wrong. These skills are good if you're single target killing, yes. But over the duration of that 50 seconds, I'm going to have a higher DPS output by not using these skills and using something like steel-tipped arrow. Let's discuss the essential skills. The most essential skill as shortbow is rolling escape. You get an immune dash every 5 seconds on top of your basic roll to the left, roll to the right, dash forward, dash back. This is amazing. The amount of times, if you watched my videos, that I've gotten out of taking damage because I've timed my rolling escape with someone's ultimate is unprecedented. You have to take this skill. The next skill, stunning shot. It's a stun. Your job as a shortbow is to control the front line and give out as much DPS as possible. It's a stun. You shoot this at a horse, it gets stunned. You shoot this at a person, they get stunned. You have to take it. Now, the more debatable one is throw bola. Now, people can say that throw bola is not as good. You just need to get good with it. It's as simple as that. It dismounts someone trying to get away from you. It stuns them and knocks them down if they're off their horse. But most importantly, this bola does blunt damage. One of your biggest jobs as a shortbow is if you are on attack or defense, you need to kill artillery that your team can't get to. This bola does range of 1800 to 2200, depending on how much blunt damage you have, directly to a piece of artillery. That's roughly 9 to 12 shots of your basic attack. That's like 9 to 12 seconds saved, which is 1 shot or 2 shots on a piece of artillery. If you can take that down faster, you will be an essential part of your team, whether it's pushing or defending. It's 1 less piece of artillery on the field. And this does that on top of the other things. I don't know how people don't take this. I know it's hard to hit and stuff like that, but just practice with it, guys. It's amazing. You've seen my video. I made a whole video on bolas and how funny it is. But this, you can just go up to a wall, you throw it at a piece of artillery that's trying to take down your siege towers, then you pew a couple times with your basic attack, or you use your skills because they're faster at shooting than your basic attack. Whatever it is, that thing will be down in 15 to 20 seconds tops, and then that's a siege tower that you help get up, which is crazy. People do not take advantage of this, and I think it's really, really essential. And now for the skills that I think are just pointless. If anything has bleed or poison damage on a skill, yes, it has a low cooldown. That's cool. But this is the DPS output of this is just nowhere near the other skills. Just nowhere near. So I don't think this is an essential skill at all. Poison arrow, no thank you. Parting shot, it's cool. It removes daze and stuff like that. But you need to maximize your DPS output, and rolling escape is just better. So you have 1 escape, which on top of your side-to-side dodge roll is essential. You don't need 2. You're not taking that much pressure from people because you are on the front lines, but you're back from the front. You're medium lines, I would say. So you don't need parting shot. And then, like I said before, the ultimates, they're just not as good as steel-tipped arrows, DPS, because it has a 6-second cooldown. I've recruited Gurney, leader of TWS, to assist in this demonstration, and we will be demonstrating the wonderful skill known as armor piercing. armor piercing is what you get from dodge rolling once, dodge rolling twice, dodge rolling 3 times. And you can use these piercing things. As you can see, piercing damage increase. And you keep that stack every time you roll, as well as sometimes when you land shots. So it uses a stack and it does some enhanced damage. But it doesn't do it off. So see how I'm getting those stacks? I'm stacking, has a chance to stack. It's still stacking. See those criticals and stuff like that? Yeah, it's still stacking. See, I have this buff. This is very essential in the sense of your DPS. If you can time your shots, your high DPS shots, with this, it'll do a bunch more piercing damage. The way this works is that you activate your skills after you've stacked either rolling or doing this, stacking 3 times. Each stack does a higher percentage. And then after you activate one of your fighting skills, so maybe if you were to use your ultimate, but mine's more steel-tipped arrow because it does the most damage. I don't even think Bola does more enhanced damage because it's not piercing, it's blunt. But Gurney has been a wonderful assistant here, but that's how the armor piercing ability works. And this is the armor piercing ability that I will reference when we talk about Epic Schematic 4-piece. The final thing that I'm going to touch on today was a huge disappointment. I decided to commit 4 Epic Schematics to Shortbow. I made it, boys. We did it. How awesome. It's wonderful. It's glorious. Look at this thing. Besides the rolls on this, which sucks, all my rolls were horrible. As you can see, I got purples instead of legendaries. But let's read this effect, boys and girls. You get 3 seconds immunity to being dazed after using Rolling Escape. That's wonderful, except the fact that it removes the immunity dash from Rolling Escape. It's a bug. It has to be. Why would they make it worse? Why would they make the class worse by giving it 2 pieces of armor? Yeah. It removes the immunity from Rolling Escape. Okay, so I was like, cool, okay. Let's full commit. 4-piece, baby. After rolling, your armor piercing ability increases 67%. Now this is the skill that I reviewed earlier, where you dodge left or right, or you make a hit on one of your skills, and you get a stack. This is supposed to increase by 67%. It doesn't do anything. I opened a ticket. They said, sorry, this game's in beta. We'll send this data over to our testing department to see if this is true. I sent them my live streams of it. I sent them my data. I sent them all this information, and hopefully, just hopefully, in the coming seasons, they will fix this. Because if they fix this, and I think it's the way it's supposed to work, where you get 67% more armor piercing ability, we'll see. We will see. But until then, this armor that cost me a really large chunk of change is worthless. That's right. You heard it here first, boys and girls. Do not make the 4-piece Epic Schematic set for Shortbow. You will be disappointed. It will be a complete silver sink. Don't do it until they release patch notes saying they fixed it.